Welcome on board Honorable Discharged. This is journey number 5. I am your pilot, Michael Caesar III. Please say the third. Now, on this journey, it's going to be a little quick trip. We will travel to the American Humane Society, see what's going on in playoff basketball, talk about some COVID vets, and there's some gum out here to combat herpes. So, let's start off as usual with some positive vibes, man. This also has some animal love in the video. So the American Humane Society reunited a 10-year-old military German Shepherd named Frankie with his former handler, Staff Sergeant Kristen. Now they worked together for around 4.5 years, 9 of those months deployed to Afghanistan, 10 months to Iraq. Man. So Frankie was trained in explosive detection. They ran over or about 20 missions together, and one of those missions they were a part of a special forces detachment. And it seems that landed them in a firefight that took the lives of several Americans. So during the firefight, reports for Frankie's handlers say he remained calm, then continued his explosive work. So he was retired after 6 years of military service, and now he is at the American Humane Society. So they got separated after they both got new orders, and Staff Sergeant Kristen said she was heartbroken. So after years together, they are back. No, after years of being apart, they're now back together in Texas with the help of former veterans and the American Humane Society, which provides free vet care to veteran service animals. So this is a cool story. They were partners in the military together, handler and a dog. New orders came around, and that's a dynamic that I never thought about. Like, I was sad when I got separated my first time from my first orders, the group of people that I established my military career with and my bonds. I was really sad the first time I had to leave and go across country. So I can't imagine being with a dog. You build different types of bonds with dogs. So you usually just talking to them. They're not going to talk too much back to the point where you can really understand them until you get to know your dog, man. That's a dope story, man. I always thought about adopting a military dog. I think just having a dog with that discipline, just like a person, having a dog with that discipline and training and the structure to know what they to obey commands, but also just like a veteran, the dog may come with some type of trauma or some sensitivities to certain things in the civilian world. All right, let's jump right back. Not right back. Let's jump back into basketball. I said it again. All right, so there's been a couple of first round games completed. The Cavs put the Heat out in 4, 133-83. They're really, excuse me. There's not much to say about the Heat this year. Most of their drama involved Jimmy Butler this year, which left the team in the hands of Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Probably left them all kind of depressed in a bad mood, just trying to get through this season. But they did get into the play-in. So I really can't say that they didn't want to be there. They got into the play-in. They beat the team before them to get there. So Tyler Hero averaged 18, 3, and 3. Bam averaged 18, 11, and 4. Like I said, this is one of the negatives of the play-in. This is a number 1 seed beating the shit out of a beat-up 8 seed that had to fight their way into the play-in. So it was continued dominance from the Cavs. It's the largest point differential in playoff history with a plus 122. They had back-to-back blowouts. And if you watch the game, damn near the entire team showed up and showed why they were number 1. Shout out to Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. DeAndre Hunter was a good pickup during the season. And Tyler Jerome out there cooking. Donovan Mitchell had 2 30-point games, and he averaged 24, 3, and 4. And the Cavs, like I said, they got rid of the Heat real quick. Well rested for the next series. The Celtics, we're going to stay out in the East. The Celtics ruined the Magic trick, ruined the Magic season. They won 4-1 last game, 103-86. Man, I like this series. This series, the Magic played the Celtics. I don't look at the 4-1. The Magic played the Celtics really good. They were at times a real bad matchup for them, and I think this is going to be a great confidence booster for the Mavericks going forward. Not the Magic. I just got the Mavericks on the brain. I can't get over what happened to Dallas this season. So this should be a great confidence booster for the Magic going forward, especially Paolo, who I think will be one of the premier Americans going forward. He is already a premier young American, but I think he's going to continue to elevate and compete for an MVP one day. Jason Tatum averaged 31, 9, and 6 throughout the series. Jaylen Brown was he consistently held things down. He dropped 36 during game 2, and he had back-to-back double-doubles. The Celtics, like I said, just like the Cavs, they got rid of the first round. They got it out quick. And the Pacers, I didn't like this. Well, I did like this series, but the Pacers killed the Bucks season, man, 4-1. Also, it was 119 to 118. This was a real heartbreaking loss. Gary Trent Jr. was probably going to be the player of the game, even though Giannis had a triple-double. Gary Trent was he stepped up real big. He was playing amazing, just saving the team, man. He reminded me. He was playing like how I expected to see Dame. And that, shout out to Dame, man. I wish you a speedy recovery. I know it's not gonna be speedy, but I just want to throw that in there. That hurt my basketball heart, man, when that happened to Dame. So Gary Trent was playing amazing. Then for him to have he just messed up, man. He fumbled the pass. I don't even know. He just missed the pass and it went out. He was wide open on the wing, and you can see how he looked, bro. I know he got to be checked on all summer or something. That was bad, man. It was a bunch of heartbreak in there. The Bucks really were trying to win. They gave up, I believe, 7 points in the last 40 seconds. They really were trying to prolong and extend the season, and it was good to see that they didn't just like give up like some of these other 4-1 series that we've seen, man. The legend of Giannis just grows even more, man. He averaged 33, 15, and 6. There's his numbers for these last couple games have been amazing. Tyrese Halliburton averaged 20, 11, and 5. The poll came out where it was a couple players, I think it was maybe less than 20, but they made it sound like it was a huge number. And I could have my information wrong, but they said he was overrated. And he showed on the first round why he's not overrated. I still think Tyrese is one of the best passers in the league. And this is another first round L for the Bucks, man. So that frustrations, I think, led to what we saw at the end when we saw Tyrese Halliburton's dad just get out real. He shouldn't have came on the court because he's not a player, but he walked out there in a bunch of emotions, just saw his son cross up Giannis and make the game-winning layup. But still, I wouldn't do that to my daughter. I hope parents wouldn't do that to their kids. If Giannis had less self-control in that moment and didn't know that was his dad, I don't even know if he knew that was his dad. He could have just pushed that man out the way, man. We just lost a series and you running up on me in the court cussing at me. Yo, get the F out of my face. But, alright, so out west, the Oklahoma City Thunder, no surprise, swept the fuck out the Grizzlies. Same as the Heat and Cavs. It's another play-in team that, had to fight. And, when they got into the playoffs against the number 1 seed, they just got the ass whooped. That's it. That's really to say about that, man. I don't really have to say about that series, man. The Thunder are going to go on. Round 2 should be better than the conference series should be a lot better. I think the Thunder are going to make it to the West Conference. So, Timberwolves are up 3-1 on the Lakers. They drowned in the lake out there. Anthony Edwards is here to become a legend, or at least be the legend killer on the court. Man, all that Ant-Man shit, is he living up to it, bro? He said he didn't want to be the face. The NBA may force him to be the face. He's too dynamic, too polarizing to not be a premier player, which he is a premier player, but I think they want him to be LeBron levels. But I also respect him for saying no, and I think he means no, not right now, because he still is young, and that's a lot to ask for to him just to end all his. Nah, I'm just talking shit. Hey, I'm just talking shit. Yeah, Ant-Man. Hey, yeah. Check the box, man. Level up your maturity, man. Let all that shit go. If the NBA wants you to be the face, man, the benefits are gonna be amazing. Yes, the shenanigans have to stop, and the scrutiny is more. But look, there ain't nothing wrong. Like Stephen A was talking about this. There ain't nothing wrong with a little guidelines, a little guide rails for your career. There's nothing wrong with somebody holding you in check. So, I think it should be up there. But also, if you don't want to, don't force people to do it, because then you're going to get a result that you might not want. All right, back to the game. So, Anthony Edwards had 43, 9, and 6 in Game 4. Former Laker Julius Randle dropped 25. Jaden McDaniels put in a double-double. On the Lakers side, Luka had 38. Rui had 27. LeBron had 23, and they were still outscored 32-19 in the fourth. Also, the secondary. Well, the main thing about this game is that JJ Redick, the coach of the Lakers, played the same five starters the entire second half. And if you follow basketball, you know that Luka does not play defense well. He's not in that good of a. No, you know what? He's in great. He's an NBA player, so he's in way better shape than probably I am cardio wise. He does not look NBA shape. But five players the entire second half is a little ridiculous for pro athletes. All right, so that's a little quick basketball training. If you see me looking over here, the Lakers, not the Lakers, the Rockets and the Warriors are on right now. I believe it's halftime. Yeah, it's a commercial one, so it's probably halftime. Yep. Rockets are beating the hell out the Warriors 76-49. All right, let's move on to some vet talk. Vet talk. Okay. An executive order from President Trump. The Pentagon has started a process to reinstate service members that were kicked out for not taking a COVID vaccine in 2021. So letters of apologies will be sent to 8,700 service members who were separated, also with details on how to re-enlist. Now, the Navy Times article states that the Biden administration discharged a good amount of healthy service members for refusing to take the COVID vaccine. Now, so some of the fine print in here is to re-enlist, there's a 2 to 4 year commitment. This offer only lasts up until April 2026. It only applies to vets who use it during the Trump admin. So I don't know why they. Okay, duh. All right, so service members would receive back pay that consists of a base pay and any other variances, allowances that they had coming. Ooh, damn, that's gonna be a lot of money, man. That's gonna be a lot of money for the people that make it in, and I hope they include some kind of financial training to that, because this has been years of back pay. Just your base pay is gonna be, man, I don't even calculate that right now. That's gonna be crazy. And then if, like you said, all the other allowances, because it's just not in the military, depending on your job or where you're stationed at, you get different types of pay. So it's a lot of different allowances in the military. That's a lot, man. Yeah, I think about doing it for 2 years, a 2 to 4 year commitment, a 2 year military contract. But then again, after getting out of the military, if you don't maintain those same standards or jump into a job that has some of those similar standards as far as like grooming and fitness, it is, if you're not self-motivated, it is going to be extremely hard to try to work your way up back into military shape. Now, you probably can get back up to bare minimum military shape to run your mile and a half, do your push-ups, your sit-ups, or your swim, or however they have people doing it now. And I don't know the PRT test now. I'm just going by when I was in. But I did a little research. Now, the medical exams for people that come back in, the scrutiny level was up. So you're gonna have to overachieve probably to get back in, or maybe, because I'm reading a lot of stuff that's saying the numbers are down also. So if you want to come back in, they may just be like, hey, if you can pass a basic PRT and you still have some of your, we do a psychological evaluation to see where you're at, they come on back in. But man, I would definitely try to renegotiate that. I'm not starting over from nothing. I need an EP. I don't know about EP eval. I need a promotion within like the first year, but it's only a 2 to 4 year commitment. So somebody could really work out, get in military shape. It's what I'm looking like, and sign that contract. 2 to 4 years. That's a lot of money coming your way. Then I guess go back to what you were doing with more money. I don't know. It's a step in making things right for the people that were kicked out unjustly because they didn't want a vaccine pushed on them. Like, I know when I joined, we had to take a lot of vaccines, and we took a lot of shots. In boot camp, they got like a little shot hallway where you just going and they give you shots in your arm, and then I know on deployment to go to other countries, you got to take these shots. So, and if you don't refuse them, I don't think you go into the other country. But so, I guess shout out to those service members that stood their ground. You know, they stood 10 toes down on their morals and did not want that vaccine. And, you know, the universe is repaying you back for it now, or at least trying to. So far, 400 soldiers have reached out. 100 of them are in the application process. 472 Marines have reached out. I got no update on the application process. 6 sailors and 0 airmen have desired to return. So, Army and Marines, they're looking to get back in, but the sailors and the airmen have no desire to go back into that. And you know what? Like I was saying, I don't really blame them that much. If you have been out and you are not maintaining that, then it's hard to jump back into that. It'd be real hard, man. Like shit, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine just trying to shave again every day, every other day, and just walking around with the low cut, the Killer Cam cut, or the Doc Rivers baldy, or like I got my hair cut low now, so it's bald. Yeah, it's a bald fade now. Yeah. So let's get to some film stuff. So, Sinners is out. That's the most. I was gonna do this talk about Mickey 17. I had a whole script typed up for Mickey 17. I may get around to it, but I saw Sinners, and I just wanted to jump in and speak on it because it's fresh in my brain. So shout out to Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. This movie is great. I like when Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler collab. When they win, I think we all win as a culture, especially black men in filmmaking and just in general. Like movies like this that are genre bending and that have a mixture of genres, man, they always get me because it breaks up just the monotony of just one way of your thinking of film is supposed to go. And like I said, this film has this multiple genres. It's comedy, it's horror, it's sci-fi, it's all of that mixed into one. So far, so it cost 90 to 100 million to make, and right now the box office is around 175 million. So it's starting to be it's starting to be profitable now. And I want this to movie, like I said, I want them to win all the time. And I see the way some of the rhetoric and the narrative behind the film, mainly it's like 99% positive. 99% positive. But you know, there are always that 1% it can bother people because that 1% is just, it's not done right. Now, if it was fair criticism, that's cool that I'm seeing, but most of it sounds like it's a lot of reach. It's a lot of reach. And like I said, I'm all for it. When something needs to be criticized and held accountable and poked and prodded at and chopped up and dissected just for, you know, the love of the sport or the film or the music or whatever you're doing, if you want to break it down. But I've been reading some reviews that have been man, they've been nonsensical at most. But like I said, 99% of them are positive. Shout out to Sinners. I want to do more in-depth review on it. I just have to find a time. But man, the response I'm seeing from it is amazing. All right, quick film talk. Let's get on to some tech and some science stuff. More science today than tech. More science today. So there's an antiviral gum out here made from the lab bean. Y'all gotta look it up. It says lab. Now, the bean contains a broad spectrum antiviral protein called FIRL. I'm not sure if that's pronounced frill or just FIRL. Now, this protein has been shown effective in preventing the transmission of various human and bird flus. So, the 2 flu strains it seems to work on are H1N1, H3N2, and herpes HSV1 and HSV2. So, there is a physical mock-up jaw simulation they have. I might show the video where they show the jaw chewing the gum. I don't know why they need to make up a jaw simulation chewing gum, but chewing the gum releases the protein in the saliva, and from there it's supposed to help prevent the transmission of herpes and flu strains. Now this honestly sounds amazing. It sounds real revolutionary. I'm all for when you make some anything medical easier for people to do, because people are lazy now and don't want to really go out the way to do anything. So if you just give some people some gum to help prevent flu, that really sounds very revolutionary. Like, I thought the flu mist versus the flu shot was game changing. Like, I haven't gotten one in a while. You know, I got plenty of them in the Navy. I think I built up a flu immune system. But you know, they keep coming out with new ones every year. But this gum, all right. So I don't know when this gum is going to be available for the public, but it sounds like I don't know if it's going to be mass produced. But these beans, I mean, I don't know if you can hoard beans. I don't see why other companies couldn't mass produce it. But, all right, some more positive vibes, man. Some more positive vibes. We'll bring it home with some more vibes. So in Zimbabwe, a startup called Mobility for Africa has these solar powered tricycles. Now they're called a Hambia. It's Hambia. Hambia, that's what I'm saying. So 70% of the Hambias are reserved for women, and around 300 women have already rented one. They cost around $15 a month to rent and $5 to exchange the battery at various stations they have set up. Now, since the majority of the vehicles are for women, this has changed the landscape of women and economics in the region. The women are not using these to get food, water, and for taxi services. Just saving people dozens of miles in walking. Now I hope that dozens of miles of walking. Now I hope they will find another way to replace that fitness, because we need to do that in America. I think Americans have gotten so used to just catching rides and driving everywhere that simple tasks like walking down the street nobody wants to do, or walking up the steps. I mean, I saw somebody. Never mind. I don't want to say nothing about nobody at work. Women are reporting they feel economic freedom. They have voices now, and they just get talked about and included in important conversations that happen in the community, because now they are the percentage. Like I said, 70% are for women, so they need to be included in these conversations about the communities now, since they are the transportation and the providers. Probably, I don't know exactly how everything is going, but I love to see that more technology that's been thrown in Africa and used in Africa. I like hearing these stories that they actually made them reserved for women, so to put women ahead to try to build up some sort of economic freedom that couldn't be encroached by anybody else, that is just for them. I think that's a great job, and I'll be following up this story. It's called the Mobility for Africa. Look into it. I want to see if I can have a link to it provided on there. All right, like I said, that was a quick trip. This week. Just shout out to the Humane Society for returning Frankie to Staff Sergeant Kristen. Hey, all y'all hoopers out there, man. Stay locked in. Stay on the grind. Veterans, if you're thinking about getting back in, man, do your research. Look at all the fine print. I know I just told you it was 2 to 4 years. They're going to give you all your money back, but do the research for yourself. And I do think there is something to that. Army and Marines want to go back in those numbers, and the sailors and the airmen really don't want no parts in going back. Shout out to that gum. Lab beans, y'all out here preventing the transmission of flu and herpes one chew at a time. Now we back docked. Fair winds and following seas.